Amandla. Long live the undying spirit of Mama Winnie. Long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Mama Winnie. Long live. Amandla. Viva EFF, viva. Viva DA, viva. Viva ANC, viva. Viva Black Consciousness, viva. Amandla. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to thank our national chairperson, officials of the EFF, to thank members of the CCT, to also thank the leadership of Free State, the hosting region, and all the ground forces of the EFF. Let me also thank our religious leaders who are here, who have honored us and blessed this important occasion. Special thanks to all those who spoke here today. We feel revived and energized by your messages, and we are going to leave this place highly determined to continue the fight which was started by Mama Winnie. Comrades, fellow South Africans, we gathered today with our hearts filled with painful sorrow in this dark hour of our people's loss. A gigantic tree of the people, under whose comforting shade many generations sat and were embraced by its millions branches during moments of despondency, directionless, tragedy, and distress. It was the tree that grew out of the grounds of so much pain and sorrow. The pain of human suffering perpetrated by those who worked the gardens of hatred, racial oppression, and ethical mass murder. These gardeners hoped to dry the great people's tree dead by denying it water, yet its roots grow even stronger, penetrating deeper into the grounds that were its support. Despite the blowing storms of imprisonment, torture, and abuse meant to break down, it still blossomed in the thousands flowers of love, tenacity, and humanity. It is the tree that was a home to many nets of freedom birds, and because they were resident of its million branches, eating from its sweet and nursing fruits, they flew across the world skies, spreading its seeds of courage, self-love, selflessness, authenticity, and uncompromising love for human freedom. Today, this tree has fallen. Its branches have succumbed to the age of centuries. And because of that, despondency seems threatening to overcome a feeble heart, for we know of very few such trees under whose shades a people could gather in one mind, one love, captivated by one future in the destiny of human freedom. Amidst so much confusion created by the noise it created when it finally hit the ground, when we follow the melodic sounds of its resident birds as they flock out in thousands, leaving the nest that now lay destroyed on the ground. When we rise our heavy hearts to cast an eye into the skies in the direction of these freedom birds, we discover that in not so distant horizon, the seeds of great people's tree has grown and multiplied into million forests. We now realize that the great people's tree has not fallen, but multiplied into million other trees whose shades can provide cover for the oppressed, neglected, poor masses of our people. Here, I speak of Mama Winnie, Madikizela-Mandela. Such people do not die. They live eternally because their seeds always survive the highest of conditions. The seeds of a tree grow even in concrete. They are indestructible. They are small, yet they develop into a gigantic trees that always give shades to the distressed. We have come to Brantford, which is a town that should have been her end, a town in which her name should have met its disappearance from the names of heroes and heroines. We have come to Brantford, where the apartheid regime banished her for 9 years into house arrest with the mindless hope that because the people of Brantford will never embrace her and she will dissolve into insignificant presence in their midst. Because they are racist, who never appreciated that African humanity has a stronger way of communicating. They thought simply because Mama did not speak Sesotho, the people of Brantford will not connect with her. The people of Brantford never turned their back. Instead, they responded to the great magnetic personality and presence that is Mama Nomzamo Madikizela-Mandela. For 9 years of a stay under house arrest with them, they, like birds, built their nest on the millions branches of a gigantic tree spirit. We make no apology for bringing the EFF memorial service to this great community of Brantford to give voice to their own story with Mama. We make no apology that like the murderous apartheid regime banished her with the hope of isolation, the past apartheid government has also banished and isolated her people, the people of Brantford. It's not an exaggeration that the isolation of the people of Brantford is best represented by the fact that her prison cell, which is house number 802 across the street from us, is dilapidated, yet the statue of Paul Kruger decorated Church Square in Pretoria, receiving protection from a democratic government. They could not protect the house that housed their own, yet they protect the statue of Paul Kruger, yet they protect everything else that reminds us of apartheid. They failed to protect their own, yet they protect the murderers who killed the people who fought for our democracy. They failed to protect the cell of Winnie Mandela called House 802, yet they protected the statue of Rhodes in UCT, yet they protect every symbol that reminds us of our difficult past. They will not dare defend that which gives us hope and courage. No better evidence than the people of Bradford, like Mama Winnie Mandela, have been isolated than the fact that this municipality, there is no TVET college for thousands of young people who want to further their education. Mama Nora spoke here and said Nomzamo did not want the youth to occupy the corners of the streets. She wanted them to go to school. She wanted them to be better people. Till to date, there is no institution of higher learning in this place against the wishes of Winnie Mandela. Despite the fact that there are mines like Beatrix and Star Diamond, unemployment in Bradford is extremely high. The people of Bradford live without basic infrastructure and services. Even under those conditions, they still never forget Mama Winnie Mandela and her movement. We are therefore here to draw attention to Bradford. Even when they ill-treat you, even when they take water from you, even when you are not working, even when they continue to ill-treat you and isolate you, you never forgot Winnie Mandela, neither did you forget her own organization. You continue to vote for them. Why? Because you are following in the footsteps of Winnie Mandela. You have not lost hope. You think because Winnie comes from here, Winnie was banished here, maybe one day something will happen. All we ask is for this government to give the youth of this area a TVET college. All we ask is for the businesses of this area, including the mines, to give these communities the shares in those mines. All we ask is that the children of Nomzamo should have a clinic that operates 24 hours, because that is what Winnie wanted for the people of Bradford. We know that house number 802, when Mama Nomzamo was here, she gave the people a clinic. An individual who was banned, who was supposed not to interact with anyone, who was watched 24 hours by the killing machine, she still provided a clinic. You've got a government which is not threatened by anything. It can't give anything better than what Winnie Mandela gave the people of Bradford. What a shame is the ANC government. An individual can provide a clinic. The government comes and provides a clinic worse than the clinic provided by an individual. Winnie Mandela is better than the government of the ANC combined. Comrades, Bradford is the town that gave South Africa Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of apartheid, from 1958 to 1966, when he was assassinated by Dimitri Tsefandas. It was when Verwoerd was Minister of the Native Affairs that the Bantu Education Act, that the Group Areas Act, the Past Laws Act were passed. He was the mastermind of the forced removals, separate development, creation of native homelands and townships. Here where you stay, it is not a residential area. This is not a suburb. This is a prison which was designed by Verwoerd and them to keep the black people who get released in the morning when they go to work, and once they finish their work, they must go back into the prison barracks called a township. There is nothing to be glorified about this. That's why it's far from the white minority suburbs. This was designed by Verwoerd and his own regime. As Prime Minister, Verwoerd presided over the banning of the PAC, the SACP and the ANC. He presided over the brutal murder of black people in the 1960 Sharpeville massacre. It was under Verwoerd that Robert Sobukwe was arrested, and a law passed called Sobukwe Clause to keep him imprisonment in Robben Island and ultimately under house arrest for all his life. We have seen a DA passing a new law in their constitution called Dilele Clause, following in the footsteps of Verwoerd passing Sobukwe Clause. How history like repeating itself in a funny way. It was under Verwoerd that Nelson Mandela, Govan Mbeki, Walter Sisulu, Ahmed Kathrada, Elias Motsoaledi, Raymond Mhlaba, and many other leaders of the liberation movement were sentenced to life imprisonment in Robben Island after the Rivonia trial. It is under Verwoerd that Mama Winnie Mandela came into public recognition as an activist in the Rivonia trial demonstration and protest. This very Verwoerd came from here, Brantford, this town where Mama Winnie Mandela was banished and put under house arrest. I use this platform to remind you of where we come from. For because it is through the powerful stories of revolutionaries that many of us will come to appreciate the history of our country. Verwoerd was born in Netherlands, and his family migrated here in Brantford due to their love and solidarity with the plight of Afrikaner people. In this way, he arrived here like his ancestor Jan van Riebeck, who sailed 3 ships that landed in Cape Town in 1652 on the 6th of April. In this very April, Mama Winnie has left us. The same April that 366 years ago marked the beginning of colonization of black people. It is the same April in which a racist killed Chris Hani in 1993. For many years, the colonial and apartheid governments celebrated Van Riebeck as the founder of their settlement in this country. They celebrated the 6th of April as the day their successful conquest of Southern Africa began. Like Verwoerd, Jan van Riebeck claimed because the Khoi and the San people did not have title deeds to demonstrate that this was their land, thus they too were foreigners. For him, the Cape and ultimately all of South Africa was a no man's land, since those who had been living there for thousands of years did not have paper to show that this was their land. That attitude demonstrates that Jan van Riebeck treated black people as
all right, so the weather is playing havoc a little bit there in the Free State, and that's part of the reason why we've lost that signal. We'll try and re-establish it, but the Commander-in-Chief of the EFF was paying tribute to Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, saying, and started by talking about her, describing her as a powerful tree, and that whilst a lot of people were looking at her and seeing a tree that has fallen, he reminded them that what had actually happened was that she had seeds that had planted from her branches and had grown new forests. Let's try and go back now to Julius Malema.
Mkhonto wesizwe revolutionary and a selfless liberation fighter was sentenced to death, and on this day in 1979 he was hanged in Pretoria to send a message to all black people, particularly activists who wanted to challenge the regime, that if you dare disrupt the white minority regime, you shall follow in the footsteps of Solomon Mahlangu. Only 22 years of age, Solomon Mahlangu belonged to the fearless 1976 generation of students who took to the street to demonstrate against the apartheid regime's imposition of Africans as a medium of instruction. The racist white minority regime met these students who were unarmed, peacefully demonstrating. They shot them and killed them. A lot of students were killed by the regime, and it took only Mama Winnie to go and pick up those bodies and make sure that those who survived, they get a proper passage out of South Africa. April has got a story to tell with regard to the history of our country. When they killed Solomon Mahlangu, when they shot the students, they wanted to suppress the black youth, but it was not going to be, because the black youth was prepared to fight. Only a month after the shooting of the students in June 16, 1976, a Congress of South African Students was formed on the 31st of May. COSAS was a demonstration of a defiant youth which is prepared to confront death in exchange of their freedom. No amount of senseless death, hanging, and state of emergency could put a stop to the unstoppable fight of the black youth against the racist regime. Today, following the passing of Mama Winnie Mandela, instead of highlighting this brutality of the apartheid regime, pointing fingers at Verwoerd's hatred that exiled the ANC, imprisoned political leaders, including the father of her children, under life imprisonment. Instead of pointing fingers at the brutality of apartheid against an unarmed black youth in 1976, the regime Mama Winnie mobilized against, many chose to focus on the lies and propaganda peddled by the system and sexist patriarchal men of the ANC. Today, we have heard so many things said about Mama Winnie. We have heard so many negative things said about her. We are not told about the brutality which made Mama to be what she was. Instead of telling us the enemies of Mama, we are being told every pettiness around Mama Winnie. And this, it is done by the men in the ANC. People do not want to highlight the condition under which Mama Winnie lived and witnessed. That her home was the first stop for many teenage youth that were being harassed, hunted and killed by the military that was occupying township schools in Soweto. By 1986 alone, it was estimated that about 8,000 detainees were below the age of 18. And all those young people, not young people, children, were treated the same way as adults. All of those things don't get to be highlighted. We are told of the negativities that surround Winnie Mandela. We want to say to the leadership of the EFF, you must never be like this patriarchal men of the ANC and treat the women of the EFF the same way the ANC treated an African woman. We must say to the leadership of the EFF, when you are given an opportunity to share leadership responsibilities with a woman, you must give her to shine more and not want to steal the limelight. Because when you do that, you are repeating the sins of the African National Congress, who could not embrace the shine of an African rural woman, a self-seeking male who issued instructions not only from Robben Island, not only from exile, not only from underground, instructions that this woman must never be celebrated. Whatever you do, please try to isolate this woman. If you do that in the EFF, you must know that you are following in the wrong footsteps. Winnie did not do anything wrong to the ANC, including a tire and a matchbox. There was nothing wrong to the ANC about that, because the ANC policy was every sellout must disappear. They did not only disappear here in South Africa, they disappeared even in exile under O.R. Tambo. O.R. Tambo might not have used a tire and a box of matches. He used an automatic rifle, shot at those were regarded as enemies and impimpies. But when an African woman says, let's do that which they are doing in exile and isolate the sellouts to protect the majority of our people and eliminate this enemy of the people, because it is said by a woman, an African rural woman, it's wrong. She never burned anyone with a tire. She never used any box of matches. Under O.R. Tambo, people were killed. There was quadro. There was a firing squad. Why is there no one reminding us here of what Joe Mutise did in the camps, what Christiani did in the camps, what O.R. Tambo did in the camps? We are reminded here about what a woman has done. Why? Because a woman has done that which was supposed to be done by men. If it was a man that was alleged to have killed Stompy, who was a Mpimpi, that man would have been saluted and be given all titles: Commissar, Commander, the fearless one. How many of these men, not only in exile, killed our own people here in South Africa? We are not being reminded of that. Never hate women, for because they are not women, they are human beings. They are the same as men. They are capable of doing what men can do. They can operate AK-47. Winnie Mandela is such an example that women can carry AK-47. When she shouted "Viva ANC" in the 80s, all men went under the table. She stood alone as a sign that women can actually do better than men. EFF, the first female president of South Africa, must come from the EFF to demonstrate that we are not scared of women. We see them as equal. We don't see them like the ANC as a tool to be used in a bedroom. We see them as a soldier equal to all soldiers, men or female. Fighters, any person who refuses to listen to women is an unreasonable person. All reasonable people don't have a problem listening to women. At home, when you are in trouble, Mutsi, when you are in trouble at home there in Northwest, and they found some condom in your pocket, you are not going to explain that a founding of condom. You are going to be screaming. I'm not going to be undermined by a woman here. Asibuzi ngabudoda, sibuza ngecondom ukuthi ifunani la. All fools who have got no respect for women, they don't listen to women. Because if you listen to a woman, you'll be depleted, you'll be finished. She will collapse. All of us who have engaged in an exchange with women, we make noise and noise and noise, and they don't respond. They wait until you keep quiet. And then from there they attack softly. And then from there you have no comeback. Why? Because you are paralyzed. The truth just paralyzed you. The reason we don't listen to them is because they are the most reasonable people. There is no woman in the world who has started a World War I, World War II. There is no woman who has ever sent people to go and bomb other nations because he wants an oil or minerals from that. Always the unreasonable ones, men. George Bush, man. Donald Trump, man. Makanda Zuma, man. Let women in our ranks rise. Let women wear overalls the same way we wear overall. And if they choose to wear the domestic workers' clothes, let it be their choice, and not because anyone imposed it on them. Let them decide what they want to do. The respect you can give to Winnie Mandela, it's a respect for a woman. You start by respecting your own partner, your own woman. Because if you've got no respect for your partner, then you don't have respect for your mother, then you don't have respect for your grandmother, you will never respect any woman. What are we learning from Winnie Mandela? We must learn that we must respect women. Because women make better soldiers. Because women make better leaders. Because women are mothers, they care. Winnie Mandela cared for our people. When we stand here to speak about Winnie Mandela, we don't seek cameras. We lived with her. We protected her in the same way she protected us. We ate her food. We slept at her house. She was a mother. We know the love of a mother from Winnie Mandela. This Winnie Mandela they write about, we don't know. We've got our own image of Winnie Mandela, of a caring mother who will do anything for her children. Like your own mother at home at night when your father is scared to wake up, when there is a noise outside, your mother will always be the first one to wake up to go and check if the children are safe. a itswa tshwere lefetlo or le gola bogobe a bula le mati a re ke mang ka mo jareteng yaka, without knowing what the other side is carrying. But because of the love of her children, because he's a protector of her children, she doesn't care what comes her way. She wants to protect her children. That's what Winnie was. Winnie wanted to protect her children. In everything she did, all she wanted was to protect her children. That's what a mother does. I don't care what darkness holds for me. I will go outside because I hear movements in this yard, yet my kids are sleeping. Those are our mothers. Those are African mothers. Winnie did not just say that. Her own comrade minister in 1997, when she wanted to be the president, deputy president, demanded by branches, her own comrades went to George Fivers, the apartheid police commissioner, and said to George Fivers, investigate her with murder. Gave George Fivers all types of monies to go and investigate Winnie Mandela. Why? Because she must be found guilty with murder so that she doesn't qualify to become the deputy president. People say here, you are given Zuma by Malema. Zuma became deputy president of the ANC in 1997 in Mafike, where Winnie Mandela was prevented from contesting. If Winnie Mandela was allowed to contest in 1997, we will not have Zuma today. They gave us Zuma in 1997. Winnie Mandela, the president, we never had. Winnie Mandela, the president, were denied to have by men who suffered serious ego politics and will not allow themselves to be led by a woman. the coordinator of the Free State ANC, I saw you with Gwedemantash in a hall here, organizing a memorial service. And in that memorial service, Gwede says, Winnie Mandela's funeral is going to be chaos. I wish to send you to him to tell him that Winnie Mandela's funeral will not be chaos. Because Winnie Mandela was never chaos. Gwede says Winnie was chaos. But I forgive Gwede. Because Gwede joined the ANC in 1992. He doesn't know Winnie Mandela. He's not qualified to talk about Winnie Mandela. That's why he says Winnie Mandela is chaos. He knows Winnie Mandela of the citizen, Winnie Mandela of the Sowetan, not the Winnie Mandela that protected the fire eaters of the 80s. Gwede's age was qualifying him to join underground or MK or go to. He has never been to prison. He has never been to holding cells. Nothing. And then he comes here to Bradford to go and tell Mama Nora about Winnie Mandela, that Winnie Mandela is chaos. You tell Mama Nora, who went to save Winnie Mandela from going to prison, that you have saved chaos. That's what you are saying to her. That you should have left chaos to go and rot and die in jail. That's what they wanted. We thank you for having saved her. That's why we came here. We came here to say thank you, not through a television, in your presence, in the presence of people of Bramford. We say thank you. We thank you. We thank the people of Bramford. Thank you for protecting Mama. Thank you for providing home for Mama. Thank you for loving Mama. Because we are here today. Because of you. If it was not you, this freedom will not have been realized. Mama Nora, if it was not you, they would have locked her up. And she was the only one who kept the fires burning. If they had successfully locked her up, it was done. Today she's called a chaos by arrivalists who know nothing about politics except factional politics. We are told of our mother as chaos by those who are a terrible accident of history, who find themselves by coincidence into positions of responsibility. They are not our leaders. Gwede says at his funeral you must organize chaos. Maybe you will be there. Coordinator of Free State, we won't be there. We have no time to bury cowards. We will only be at Winnie Mandela's funeral, not funeral of cowards. At Gwede's funeral, there will never be such unity. For because Gwede has got no history or a place in the history of South Africa, he is a nobody, extremely insignificant, the size of an ant. You touch our mother, you touch us. You touch a woman, you touch a rock. This woman will kill him for their leader. Of course, consciousness, when it leaves you, it doesn't say goodbye. Politics are a difficult subject. That's why people end up saying things they don't even know what they mean. Winnie Mandela was not a wheelbarrow. I don't know what they wanted Winnie to do. Like when they left him here in South Africa, went into prison, went into exile, went underground. What was she supposed to do? Because she's not a wheelbarrow. It's not a wheelbarrow that you leave here and when you come back from exile you find it here and want to push it. Winnie Mandela was a thinker. She had to think, she had to act. And that's what she did. Please don't be wheelbarrows. You must be thinkers. Don't live a coward life, because you are equal as dead. Cowards die many times. Me, when I walk here as a product of Winnie Mandela, I am not scared of anything, because I don't live a lie. You like me for who I am, or you don't like me. You've got two choices to decide what you want to do. Because Mama taught us not to live a lie. When it is wrong, it's wrong. A spade is a spade, it's not a garden tool. Fighters, speak your mind, express yourself, and don't do that with arrogance. Do it with humility of Winnie Mandela. Fighters, you know our mother was elegant and beautiful. Firstly, she built a beautiful home for herself and her children when Madiba was in prison in Soweto. And then they said all manner of things about that house, because everything she does they were criticizing. The house is still standing there, beautiful, solid. Why did she build that house? She never wanted to be tempted to go to the suburbs. She wanted to live and die amongst the people of Soweto. All of us have committed class suicide. Hinyi town. We left our people there. We don't even know what are the real issues affecting our communities. We read about them in Sowetan editorial, because there is a gap in between. Mama's love for her people was a constant interaction with those people. She knew their suffering. She didn't read about it in the papers. That's why she died fighting for them. Mama wanted the land, and Mama said she doesn't want a madness of driving white people to the sea. We say that all the time in the EFF, but it doesn't suit the narrative of those who own the media. We are being projected as people who don't want white people. We want white people. There's no problem with white people. White people have naturalized here. They are like our trees and mountains. They are like nature. They're naturalized here. So any person who says to you, we don't want white people, is not different from a person who says we don't want trees. Let's wake up tomorrow and cut all the trees, and then this place will be extremely ugly. We will be an ugly nation without white people. We complement one another. That's what makes us a unique nation. Our demand for land is not driving whites to the sea. All we are saying to the white people, share the land. Share the land. And because we are in majority, we shall own a bigger portion. And you are in minority, we shall give you a space. Madulo ke a mangata ntlong ya ntate. Re tla le ngwathela space. Not the other way around. We cannot be allocated portions of land by white people. It must be the other way around. Oh, welcome. Yes, your portion. This is Africa. We all belong to it. Not the other way around. But it looks like it must be the other way around. With the policy of willing buyer, willing seller. Even if you've got the money, if there is no willing seller, you can't buy a land. And of late, there's no willing seller. They are all holding into the property. What is going to happen to these people here? You are all going to die like Winnie Mandela and become a landless ancestor. We don't want a landless ancestors here. To bury you, it's a nightmare. You are born, into this country, you've got no land, you live without land, you die, to bury you with struggle. They chase you out of the farms when you die. That's what we're saying. Why would our people die without a piece of land? To be African, all of us here, we all have committed a sin, and not only who are sitting here, their parents and their parents. Because in African culture, yabutu, hamutu agula, aiba monna, aiba musadi. Reswantje re mo fe peace ya lefatshe. Here is your portion. Tsamaya o di bone. O age motse wa hao. We have not given anyone a piece of land as a sign of appreciation, but also as a sign of saying to you, you are now old enough, take responsibility. The first instance of taking responsibility is by taking care of the land we have given to you. That's why we grow up to become drunkards. Because the only thing it was given to us is alcohol. We can only take care of alcohol. Which land are we going to take care of? Because we must say, you are ready now. Here's your portion. Here's your plot. You will grow it. Nothing has been done. Bana barna bana lefatsi. Bana barna ba ja dinyaupe. Bana barna ba ja bujwala. Bana barna ba sebetsi. Ba tla sebetsa lefatshe le lefi ka re ha bana lefatshe. Mesebetsi ke lefatshe. Tloelang ntho ya lona le re he re batla mesebetsi, ha re batle mesebetsi, re batla lefatshe, re tla le sebetsa rona. We want to be our own employers. How batla o bula saloon ya o etsa moriri lefatshe. How batla o bula nyana spaza shop lefatshe. How about our studio ringo, so music lefatshe. There's nothing without land. It all starts with land. We're not fighting white people. We're having a robust debate as a country. And I'm worried that our journalists don't seem to be writing very well about this issue. Because there is a narrative out there that we want to commit a white genocide. Those are the people who can counter the land question issue with facts. They are using embedded journalism to lie, so that they can give the Western powers to come and bombard us here when we take our land and say, no, you are committing white genocide. No white man has been killed in South Africa because of the land. Not even Terre Blanche was killed because of the land. The most high racist. He was not killed because they wanted to take the land. They killed him because he was molesting young people in the farms there and not paying their salaries. There is no case in South Africa of any white person killed because people wanted the land. No, not even one. There is no case in South Africa of any white person forced out of his own property. Not even by EFF. What we did as the EFF was to occupy the unoccupied land. Hey, that one we do it peacefully, there is no problem. That's all we did. We are occupying the unoccupied land while we are still waiting for a proper fertile land. It must still come. It doesn't. We are passing time with empty land. We are looking for the real thing. And we are going to do so without killing any white person. There will never be blood. That's what Mama told us. No blood. You must fight in such a way that you use the political power you have to transfer land into the hands of the people. I stand here in the memorial service of Mama Winnie to commit that there will never be a white man killed in South Africa because of the land. The land will be transferred into the hands of the people peacefully, so through exercising of the political power. Na re tshwanele ANC ke nana le etsa pila le sa re fe power nke le re zama iwana o tla bona wena. You know it's a mistake, you tlishe power. We are going to take this land without a drop of blood. To amend the constitution is constitutional. Anyone who says when you amend the constitution to take the land, you are doing an unconstitutional thing, is an illiterate. The constitution allows that it must be amended through 2/3 majority to speed up the process of changing property relations in South Africa. Comrades, my last point, Chair, and Bishop Siok, and all pastors here. Our government has declared how many days? 10 days of mourning. 10 days of mourning. They say there is a 10 days of mourning. And then they announce it, and then the flags must fly at half-mast. And then that is the end of it. What is a mourning period in South Africa? What do you mean that this is a mourning period? What must we do practically? Because you declare it a mourning period, but it's business as usual. What is even worse in this country, a person who declares a mourning period for Mama Winnie goes to Limpopo in a place called Mokwakwaila. He's dancing like Chomi on stage during a mourning period. What is a mourning period in South Africa? Music is played, festivals are going on, alcohol is sold even to children. There's nothing that changes in South Africa. It actually becomes worse. Because before mourning period, I never saw Cyril dancing, but he danced during a mourning period. Have we abandoned our culture? What is our African culture? Because when you say this is a mourning period, you mean the family South Africa is in mourning. That's why I dress a peri jacket. Because that's what we do during a mourning period. During a mourning period, come on high. Halele butlokong, hale light television, hale raluki music, hale nuyala. What is a mourning period in South Africa? Or nobu anje? Everything we just say for the sake of saying it. Or a mourning period, it's a period that allows us to steal government money because it's a state funeral. Therefore, we will shortcut the procurement process in the name of a mourning period. What is a mourning period? What must happen? What must I do as a South African? PSL games are playing. That's why Chiefs is losing 3-0 here. Mourning period. How do you play PSL games during because a league must be suspended? All of those things. Comrades, I was in Cuba when Fidel Castro was buried, and I happened to get into a maxi taxi there. They don't play radio. No taxi plays radio, no nothing. In the hotel, they don't sell alcohol. In a restaurant, you want alcohol, you go into your room, lock yourself in your room and drink alcohol. Why? It's a mourning period. We need cultural revolution in South Africa. We need to change the mindset of Africans. We need to restore the dignity of Africans. But Bob Ramford, Ritlile Mo, Rekolona, Rebere Batla Fella, we expose Antloe. By Bonor Bat Babu, Minister Rabaruna, by Yen saying in Troya Winnie. Today lefatshe le a tseba ka ntlo e gore ditšhelete di jelwe di jiwa ka mo ntlong ya Winnie. Re a e batla, re sa o batla museum o. Re tle mo Brandfort mo re batho ba tsebe all over the world gore a le na metsi. Hey, Minister stood up here and said the water is coming. You know why the water is coming? Because the EFF came here to Brandfort. If the EFF did not come here, you were not going to get water. Brandfort Minister was not in the program of the ANC. Brandfort was not in the program of government. You never had intentions to come here. But once the EFF announced, you all came here running. But Brandfort, I'm not complaining. I'm happy water is coming. When we leave here, the legacy of the EFF will be water in Brandfort. That's what EFF does. Everywhere we go, the lives of our people change for the better. And that's what we came here for. Re batla ditsela mo. Go be le ditsela tse dintle. Re batla di street light, not the Apollo. Because ha una Apollo ko toropong. Ntho nngwe le nngwe e etsahalang toropong re batla mo locationeng mo. Because le rena we are equal to white people. Comrades, you must never be demoralized. Let's continue to fight. Winnie Mandela in isolation for many days, she never gave up. You are not in isolation. You are with your family. There is nothing that should be used to demoralize you. The suffering of our people should actually energize you and agitate you to fight for a better life. I want to take this opportunity to thank bomme ba rona ba meaparo. Re a leboha batswadi ba rena ha le tlile le tlo honora mme wa rona. Re a leboha tanki le ka moso. Re lebohe baruti ba rona, all the pastors and the bishops who came here, prayed for us and honored us. Don't get tired of praying for us, because it is only through your spiritual intervention that will keep on soldiering on. We need that prayer. We need those words of encouragement. I want to thank all the political parties, including the leadership of the ANC. Your coming here did not mean we must not criticize. We criticize even in your presence, because we are not gossiping. We are telling the truth the way it is. Thank you very much, the people of Brandfort. Amandla! Amandla! Long live the fighting spirit of Winnie Mandela, long live! Long live the fighting spirit of Solomon Mahlangu, long live! Long live the fighting spirit of Robert Sobukwe, long live! Long live the fighting spirit of Steve Biko, long live! Amandla! Auno Makubi! Siyaya, Siyaya, no Makubi, Siyaya, Siyaya.
Those, of course, live visuals from the EFF's memorial service for the late Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela in Brandfort, the town where she was banished out of sight. She was meant to be, and the EFF pointedly reminding South Africans, reminding the world really of the history of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela when she was on her own, when she'd been forgotten, when she was out of sight, taken away by the apartheid state. And that's where they chose to have their memorial.
Yeah, of course, this comes after the main memorial service in Orlando that was ANC government led. But Patricia de Lille was in attendance at the EFF memorial. She was talking about Mama Winnie's treatment at the hand of government. Julius